Hey, welcome back to another virtual gaming session. And this time I am playing as England. And England is probably the country I've played more than any other country. Again, disclaimer, I'm not going to claim that I'm an expert at it. I think England has an extremely difficult start as far as all the majors go. You basically have a mad king who can't have a baby, and it's setting up the stage for the War of the Roses. And then, of course, this is right after I believe his father passed, who was a great king and had conquered a very large part of France. I may have gotten a little bit of that wrong. So here it says, ever since the 1337 conflict over the rightful king of France, it's been ravaging France and England. This is the 100 Years' War. The English did retain all kinds of control. And then there was a Treaty of Tours, which, there's this tenuous peace right now. Okay, so king since he was 9 months old, Henry VI has now grown to assume the crown. Even as an adult, however, Henry seems unwilling to rule. He's worryingly detached from reality, blah, blah, blah. Okay, with the English busy continental affairs, we're having problems with Ireland, etc. Religion is Catholic. They will very likely convert to Protestant later. And then, of course, as long as you're Catholic, the Pope will bestow different colonial regions upon you. And then the government is a monarchy, but we have Parliament. So you're going to get to see how Parliament plays out. And then we also have the pesky estates, which is always an issue. But this time there's only two, the burghers and the clergy. But it's still annoying. And then, of course, we use government reforms, etc. Environment-wise, it just tells you your normal stuff. Okay, so a couple of things. Somebody pointed out, this one I realized myself. So, as Portugal in that last game, I took these territories, of course, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I did so without realizing that France actually had claims on those. So that's the reason why France destroyed us. Had I not declared war on Castile and taken those exact territories, I probably would have been fine. If I would have taken the territories down here that France did not have a claim on, France might have left me alone in that last game. One other note from that last game is Jason was absolutely insistent that I would have made more money if I would have colonized the Caribbean, but we won't know unless I play another Portugal game. Okay, there's a few things that I didn't do much with Portugal that I'm going to do more here. One is when you select your army, there's all kinds of options here. And one of them is army drilling. It raises army professionalism by 0.3% every year. And there's a small chance that your general will actually get improved abilities. So when you have like a 2-pip general, it could really make a difference. And then here you could build a supply depot. It costs 20. And then their supply limit modifier is up by 50%. What is supply? Supply is how large of an army can you field in that particular province. Not as big of a deal in Europe, but in some places that are mountainous or whatever, it's going to have a low supply threshold. And you're not going to be able to field as large of an army there, and it will be a problem. Now, where is supply listed in all this? It would probably be under, it's under military. You can see supply limit of 33. So if I had 34,000 troops, I would start taking attrition damage. And you can see here, maximum unit weight the province can supply without causing attrition. And of course, winter might make this go up and down, things like that. But that's what supply is. I just wanted to point those things out because I never, use those very often, but sometimes it's important. And then you can seize colonies or burn colonies. That's more for overseas. You can attack the natives. Some of those things, are very situational. Beyond that, everything else is hunky-dory. Okay, so what's our situation as England? Well, first of all, we have semi-decent army size. We have 16K and 13K. So the good news is we can, manage some battles pretty well. The bad news is we're gonna have a high army maintenance in the beginning of the game. So economy is gonna be tough. Okay. Um, we have Calais over here, which is quite the stronghold. The culture is off, but everything else is good. It is a natural harbor, which is really nice if you can keep it. Um, and I mean the good itself is not that good, but it is providing some decent trade value and trade power to the node. We'll talk about that in a second. And it has a fort. Um, Now, these down here, much harder to keep, um, and they, of course, are all things that France is going to want. Maine here is part of the treaty to give back to France, so we'll be asked to give that back to them at some point, and it's highly developed, so it does make really good money if you can get the culture converted, or just add that culture. It is adding a lot to the trade power. Um, I guess the big thing here is you can get greedy if you want. And some people have posted many things in the forums about how England can pull this off, and win. Here's the thing: it's hard, um, and the reason it's hard is because France is going to out economic and outproduce you. That's the first thing. So they're going to be able to field some really large armies. So it's going to be really hard to beat them back. And then the second reason it's hard is what I'm going to get into next, and that's your king has a 0, 0, 0. Yes, this is the only country in the game that I think has a 0, 0, 0 king. And then you're infertile, so your chance of an heir is minus 25%. And you're only age 22, so you're going to have him for a long, long time. They do have a national focus here. I'm going to shut this off so we at least get more of everything else. But yeah, 333 is all we're getting. And so we're going to be way behind on power, at least at the beginning of the game. We have no legal heir, we have no wife, and if I remember correctly, this is the guy who killed his wives because they couldn't produce an heir. This guy is a nut job, okay? And that's the thing. And you basically have a doofus running the country, and trying to war with France with a doofus is going to be really, really hard. Now, you can abdicate, but only if you have an heir. So you can give up the throne, but you need to get an heir. So one of the priorities is to get that heir. And the minus 25% is going to make it really hard. So what happens if we don't? Well, then there's disasters. And this is something we didn't talk about much with Portugal, but there are possible disasters for your nation, and it's unique for each nation. So it's a really beautiful part of the game. Some of them are generic, like a civil war is generic. You know, if we meet those conditions, we would have a civil war. The English Civil War happens during the Age of Absolutism, and then at least 20 seats in Parliament with a stability of less than 2. So all the following must be true. And so one of the following must be true. So you see all those different check marks there, okay? And right now our stability is less than 1, so technically speaking, we would have an English Civil War if that happened. The Peasants' War only occurs in the Age of Discovery, which is now. So we have to worry about that. It occurs when the stability is less than 0, and our manpower level is less than 25%. So this is pretty easy to trigger. And so we have to be very, very careful. And once the Age of Discovery ends, then this will go away. And then this last one is the War of the Roses, which is the thing that I think most of you were anxious to see. And one of the following must be true. We have to be in a disaster, which the Peasants' War would cause, or the Civil War. Have an heir, have a regency council or be lesser part of a personal union, and that's what would cause the War of the Roses. So getting an heir to the throne could cause this to happen. So pretty problematic there. Okay, enough of that. Now, what's our strategy? Well, the other thing is that France is guaranteeing Scotland. So your natural inclination is let's kill Scotland and unite the British mainland. Of course, that is what we want to do. However, like I said, France is guaranteeing them, so it's really tricky. The next thing is you can see Norway has little islands here, and the Isles is its own little country. Um, Sometimes you'll see these guys get wiped out because either Scotland will wipe them out or whatever. And then, of course, Ireland needs to be united. And what's going to happen here is some of these provinces are going to be very friendly to us, and some of them won't. So you'll naturally ally with some and not with others. And usually, what I like to do is ally myself with the ones who hate Scotland. And so if they end up getting in a war with Scotland, they may call us into the war, and that's a perfect opportunity for us to beat Scotland without France's involvement. France is our largest enemy. Actually, you could argue Scotland is, but France is really the biggest enemy. I don't have to worry about France coming across the channel as long as I keep my navy maintained. So what can we do about France? Well, the first one is that allying with Castile, again, is not a bad idea because they're going to help with any battle with France. And if you have Castile's army plus your army, you do have a chance to wipe France down. Portugal, of course, we are allied with now, and that doesn't need to go away. And, staying allied with them is fine. However, they're not going to be able to help out with France. Just a tiny bit, but not enough. It is possible that Austria, if they grow, which they didn't do in the last game, could be a really good ally. Norway and Sweden are decent allies, as is Denmark, but sometimes Denmark will declare that you're a rival. Like right now, see, we're a rival. So Denmark's not an option. So um, Norway and Sweden are both junior partners to. So basically, Denmark's their patriarch. And so what we typically do is we'll support a revolution, a revolt, which is exactly what France did for Aragon against Castile in our Portugal game. Russia usually likes you, but you're too far away. It is possible. Like Brittany is very friendly to us. Usually, Burgundy is not trustable. You don't want to trust Burgundy at all. They're very fickle. They have all kinds of secession issues. Try not to put your hopes and dreams into Burgundy. And then, like I said, don't mess with Holland and Flanders because those will eventually become the Netherlands. And let them be. Just try to stay at peace with them and let them do what they do. If you do conquer them, humiliate them or something else, don't try to take their territory. Now, how important is it to get Picardy and Artois to connect your dots here? To be quite honest, if you can hold on to Calais and lose everything else, I think you're doing fine. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. And if you lose everything on main Europe, you're still going to be fine. The one thing about the superpowers in this game is they are super powerful. And so even if you lose all these territories that they start and you keep only mainland England, you're still going to be a heavyweight the entire game. And you're going to enjoy a good economy, you're going to enjoy great positioning, great development, all that stuff. Now, the most highly developed country is France. Well, actually, the Ottomans and France are pretty close together. And then, like some craziness, like Florence and Venice have really high development as well. And then, of course, the Russia ones are very low. Okay, so let's look at the trade situation. So first thing you'll notice is that we have our own trade node, the English channel. And we click on the English channel, we are already at the top at 202 power with nobody else even remotely close. And that is the way we want to keep it. So we're getting $9 out of there, and that's very good. And I don't even have a merchant there, and I probably want to put one there. And then you can see here we have one merchant in Champagne pushing $1.31 in, and we have another one over here in Norway pushing $1.49 in. Okay. Our English Channel trade node includes Artois. It also, and you can see Artois has a natural harbor, which is great. It also has the Seine estuary from, how would you pronounce that? Co. Anyways, these territories that we have from France are all contributing towards our trade power. So, like I said, if you want to hold something, those are what you want to hold. If you give up Maine, it's not a big deal because look, Maine is not even in our trade node. It's in the Champagne trade node, which is, yeah, we're going to lose some trade power. So this $1.31 will drop a little bit, but it's not that big a deal. And then way down here, we have these two provinces. Don't even try to hold those as far as I'm concerned. If anything, maybe we could even sell them to Castile, maybe get some money. I don't know if we can pull that off, but the AI is a little fickle about selling provinces. Okay, what else do we know? Well, like I said, we got the two coming from Europe into there. This is, if you'll notice, it is a endpoint, so there's nothing coming out of our trade node. That makes it far superior to the Sevilla trade node, where things came in, but there was this one that came out. And as you can see, there was always a push where they were pushing out. That's not the case with us. And then France actually has two trade nodes that they're trading in. This one here, which of course is all the blue, and this one that's red. And the red one is really going to be their primary income. But this one will grow because you can see that all of these are going overseas. So as France starts to become a colonial, do some imperialism, this will grow. Okay, same with us. So where's the rest of them coming from? Well, let's back out. You can see there's a North Sea one, which includes all of Scotland. And then as we take over Scotland, we're going to control that trade node. And then you can see Norway is pushing some money towards their node. And then we're taking the Norway node and pushing it back this way. And you can see way up here, Russia is the White Sea. So Russia is trading directly with us here. Okay. And then if you scroll this way, this will go to Greenland. So it'll be, all the northern provinces will go there. And then here you can see there's two arrows coming in. And if you follow those two arrows, this one goes to North America, and this one goes to, I believe, the Caribbean. It may not. It's actually curving way down. This may actually go to, oh my gosh, this actually goes, I think, to the Ivory Coast. So the Caribbean does not directly go to the English Channel. So that's something to bear in mind. But as we start to do exploring, these arrows will reveal themselves a bit more. So you'll see exactly where things are going. This will include Canada. Okay. What else? Diplomatically, as you can see, we're allied with Portugal. And religious-wise, not an issue. Institutions, we're always last to get institutions. That's one thing about being England, is you're far away from where most of the institutions, like, one of them was in Italy. We had one in Portugal. And it has to spread all the way up to where we are. Now, granted, it's not as bad as being in China, but it is still pretty far. I was able to get one once. I don't remember which one it was, but anyways, technology-wise, we all start the game exactly the same, but because we have a 000 guy, we're going to fall behind. Colonial, I forgot, there is this colonial one where it shows you how far your colonial reach is. Obviously, right now we have no range at all, but at some point it'll actually show which provinces we can go to and which ones we can't. And we should have used that when we were in Portugal, when I never did. Okay, so I know we're very far in. What else? Province-wise, a couple of things to notice. First of all, there is a seat in Parliament. If you give a seat in Parliament, you can see that the production efficiency, tax modifier, manpower all go up by 10%. And so does sailors. So that is a very powerful thing, and we want to know, we have to pay attention to where are our best taxes in production and manpower, right? So Kent is already a part of Parliament, and you can see they got a really nice tax there. They get the 10% bonus. What's the deal? Parliament needs to have so many seats. And as you grow as an empire, you're going to need to add more seats. So more and more of these provinces are going to want to be, excuse me, a part of Parliament. It does not matter where you select your Parliament. You don't have to pick something in France to, appease the French that live over there. You just have to have a certain number of territories as part of your Parliament, and you want to make it just so you get those bonuses. Let's see. Now, here's the next thing. You can't give to Parliament what belongs to an estate. So this is the part where these two estates get a little annoying. The clergy and the burghers don't control Sussex. So therefore we can add it to Parliament. And, the burghers happen to have this province, and so we can't add them to Parliament. The Calais belongs to the clergy, same deal. Okay, so the different estates. Now, the estates give you bonuses too, right? Clergy gives you, it removes autonomy for local taxes, and missionary maintenance is lower. So your local taxes are actually higher, or as high as they can be, even though you have autonomy for everything else. The burghers, for example, removes local autonomy for production and trade power. So the production and trade power is at full strength, etc. I think our most developed province is, of course, going to be London, and we do want to get this to a 10-10-10. Don't want to necessarily do it right away. And then you can see this is our main trade city, London is. We are a port, which is good, and you're going to see that our we got a local trade power of +10, and another +10, so we get +20. And I think in other games, I get my EUs mixed up. It might have been a previous version of EU. You used to start the game with like a really high level dock, but I think that was a different EU. Okay, but London is our most developed at 20, so we got a ways to go, and that's. And I think Portugal was even higher. They were like 26. Okay, so oh, is there anything else to? We can set some edicts up, which does cause our maintenance to get higher, but it'll give us even more and more trade power. So one of the first things I want to do is exactly that. I want to protect trade, and so I'm going to increase our trade power by 50%. And right now our trade power is 3. So, and I know that doesn't sound like much, but from my perspective it is. And then, this one has a trade power of 3.1. And the idea here is if we protect our trade power, we're going to get more money out of the trade node. And that money is going to more than make up for what we're losing in extra maintenance fees. Now this one is half us, half Scotland. So I may leave that one alone for now and not do an edict. And did you notice that when we were Portugal, we actually had special options down here, to do holy power and stuff like that. And as England, we don't have those options. So that's, I think, why it shocked me so much. I play England so much, I don't get those options. Okay, we could always assign something if we wanted, and it tells you what those bonuses are, but I don't recommend you assign more than you have to. Now, how do you know how many to assign and how many not to? The estates will tell you. Their land here, 11% makes them happy, and it tells you it increases their influence if you give them more land. And it'll go red if they don't have enough land. So burghers have 11%, clergy has 21. The influence here is the power that they hold in a country. High-level influence both benefits provided by a loyal state and the penalty suffered from a disloyal one. So in a state whose influence increases to more than 100%, is at risk of seizing power of the country. So you'll have like a revolutionary war. You don't want to get too high. Okay, so and of course their loyalty to you, you want that to be high as possible. Okay, Navy-wise, we do have a lot of ships. A whole ton of barks here, which we can use for trade. And then, of course, early carracks, along with cogs that we will use for transport. And let's go ahead and look at a few things. So we looked at our government. It stinks. We're not going to be able to afford an advisor. Don't trust that $12 thing. It's going to change. We have 3 cultures. There's a whole bunch more we can add as an accepted culture, but you need to have higher government ranks and technology. All right, we're looking at Denmark here. Let's look at ourselves. We have Scotland as an enemy, Denmark as an enemy, Burgundy as an enemy, and France as an enemy, which is pretty interesting. So that's a province of interest, but I don't care about them. We have 1 of 4, so we can get 3 more diplomatic relationships going. Oh, excuse me, I just had to yawn. We can get 3 more going, and in order to get an heir, you want to make sure that we pick those 3 to be places we can do royal marriages and, possibly an alliance as well. So, because we need as many possible wives and etc. as possible. We do need to set some rivals. Scotland is a perfect rival. France is... It would be really nice to befriend them, but her opinion of us is minus 200 right now. Who else could we pick? We could pick Burgundy instead. The problem with picking France as a rival is you can't unpick them if you want to try to butter them up and get them to become your friends someday. And making France your rival, it's hard. So I'm gonna make Burgundy my rival, because I may just as easily be at... Well, actually, crap. I should have checked their... Yeah, they view us as an enemy. And they have us as a rival, so that's not good. And France has us as a rival, so we might as well make France our 3rd rival. Denmark is another good one to do. Okay, so since we have 3 rivals, we can embargo them. So we can issue embargoes, which will kick them out of our trade node. So that's a possibility, but we'll worry about that later. Here it's warning us that the War of the Roses is going to happen. the stability needs to go up in order to prevent War of the Roses. And there you can see the ruler has less than 2 administrative, diplomatic, or military. This is the reason why we need an heir. We have too few seats in Parliament, so we need 7. We only have 5. So before we pick who we're going to do in Parliament, let's do... This is the list of our tax revenue. So you can see London is first, and then Aquitaine, and then Maine. So, unfortunately, the French territories are the most valuable. Then Essex is the next one. So we'll check them. And then Calais. And then Kent. Where's Kent? Why am I not seeing Kent? Oh, here. Oxford after that. So we got some candidates here. So we know we can't pick Calais because they're clergy. Kent does not have an estate. Essex does. Oxford doesn't. So we have our candidates. So we're going to make Kent get a tax modifier plus 10%. Okay, why can't I do this? I'm clicking. Oh, they already have a seat in Parliament. Boy, I'm being dumb. So does Oxford. Dang it. Boy, I really was being dumb there. So now we keep going. And there might be a better way to look at this. There's a ledger I think you can pull up down here. So you can see economy. If you do income, this is all the countries. I want a ledger that encompasses just our country. And so that's not going to work for us. Yeah, let's just go back to what we were doing. So Calais, Kent, Oxford, Norfolk. There's Norfolk and Way. We're going to pick them. Where's Norfolk? Why am I having a hard time finding everything now? Norfolk is for sure up here. It's Dorset. Oh, I'm being blind. I may as well just quit playing. I'm sure some of you are like jumping out. He's right there, you dumb son of a... Right here is Norfolk. Come on. Okay. So see, the thing that stinks is I can't, just... So now I gotta close this. Let's check Norfolk. Boom. Now we can give him a seat. So let's do that. And it jumped to 41 cents. It's something. And we need one more. So I know this is painful, but that's the thing with Parliament is a little bit... They added it as part of a expansion pack, and it is neat. It's a lot of work, though. Okay, so Sussex is the next one, and I think they were available. They are, so we're done. Okay, so we got them up to 41 cents. We could add more, but I don't recommend it. Just do the minimum. Okay. So here's how Parliament works. You start a debate. You have to. When this thing comes up, you have to create a debate, or otherwise you get corruption. So it gives you a whole bunch of options. And this is the part that is fun about this, although it's annoying and it's all the things combined. So what we can do is we can say, okay, our advisors cost less. Or maybe I want my land maintenance modifier to be lower because I have a lot of troops. And that's actually not a bad one. I can gain a general with 40 tradition, which is pretty awesome. And I can get sailor recovery speed or just gain a bunch of sailors. So sometimes it'll be, you know, extra 10% taxes. It all depends. This is all random here. So the land maintenance modifier is a good economic one for us because right now we are paying an army maintenance of $8.69. So land maintenance modifier would be minus 10%. So that would be what? We'd reduce it by 86 cents, which is almost a dollar. I guess it's, you know, maybe you're laughing at that, but that's something. And this won't change. So it's not like if you close it and start it again, you're going to get new ones. The general's not a bad option because then I don't have to spend military power to get one. And then what's interesting is some people will tell you, so for example, if I want to pick a general, we have a really good one, actually, and he is going to die soon, but he's a really good one already. And then like the next one, you can make our ruler become one because we want our king to die, right? Because he's a crappy king. So we could do that, and then yeah, let's do that. See, there's a risk that he will die. So Henry VI is actually a 4-pip ruler, or 4-pip general. So we can do that and assign him to here, and you can see he's a 1-star general. So I sort of answered that question for us: is do we need another general? A general with 40 tradition, by the way, is pretty good. I think that'll normally get you a 2-star general, but we're going to go for the economy thing. So we're going to pick this one. So now it's going to tell you we have an 85% chance to win, and it would be for the next 10 years. So every 10 years you have to go through this process. So we can wait, and for a period of time, it'll allow us to try to check these boxes. So we can wait, and then eventually it'll end. It'll continue until November 11th, 1449. So it'll take 5 years to debate. It has a 10% chance of ending each month. After that, losing it costs you 20 prestige. So anytime you lose a debate, it costs you 20 prestige. And then 4 out of the 7 seats are backing us. So those seats that we just picked, each of those provinces, the ones that are in gray, are supporting us. So we already have their support. Now London's saying, hey, we'll support you if you grant Navy commissions, which would make me lose 5 Navy tradition. I usually do that in a heartbeat because Navy tradition is really hard to hold on to unless you're battling in the Navy all the time. So let me click that. Boom, I just passed it. All I needed was support from one more territory. So now for the next 10 years, my land maintenance monitor is minus 10%, attrition is minus 5%. And we got a victory, and it's just a little message saying so. And I don't know if the economy changed. Yeah, yes it did. Look, we went from 869 to 781. So that actually dropped by more, almost a dollar, 80 cents. Yeah, like we said, about 80 cents. I'll take that because 80 cents is going to, help us with our economy here. Now, rooting out corruption is at $1.41. So this is very high. I'm not rooting out that much corruption. So I think that number is going to change. So I don't think we can trust these numbers. So, okay. We have enough money that we can just start building castles. I don't know. Let's not do that. And in fact, let's mothball our forts. All 6 of them, which is going to save us a boatload of money because our fort maintenance was $6. Now it's $3. And it's saying, like here, this actually I trust more. Our balance is 657, not 1365. So that's much better. The rooting out corruption, we're paying 0. So I think that's more trustworthy. This is just, these are the countries you sort of want to get in bed with because you may have a chance to take their So Ulster. Then naval doctrine. We actually selected one with Portugal, but I didn't explain it much. You get to pick one of these, and then you can't change it for the rest of the game, or if you do, it's going to be high penalties. So for example, naval maintenance modifier, minus 15%. It does cost you $255, but we'll pay less to maintain our ships for the whole game. And as England, this is not a bad option, right? Because if you plan on having a large navy, you're going to pay 15% less for that navy. Galley compatibility stinks unless you're in the Mediterranean. Trade power, plus 1/3. That's super good. If you're going to build, barks and have them protect trade nodes, things like that. So if you're sending ships to protect trade nodes, remember how we built that flagship that gave a huge bonus to all the ships protecting trade nodes? This is on top of that. So you could really improve your trade power with a merchant navy. This one is when you go to battle and you actually win the battles, you could actually capture the enemy ships and make them a part of yours. I've never played with that. I couldn't tell you how wonderful or bad that is. And then this is the one that is unique to England. The wooden wall. Only England can take this, or maybe one other country. I think this is exclusive to us. Anytime we are in a battle off of our coast, we get +1 to the battle. And +1, what, you might ask? It's +1 everything. So it's a very big advantage. And so, of course, we're going to be battling along the English Channel here, right? Or if we fight pirates, it's going to be along our coast. So the wooden wall is basically our way of preventing them from ever landing and invading our home territory. It's a very, very good one. Now, is it better than Merchant Navy? I would say they're equal. It's just that Merchant Navy, you have to invest in merchant ships. And then this one, I would say over the long haul, is a very great economic option. Because we are going to probably build a lot of ships at some point. But this is the only time you ever get a combat bonus. These other ones you can overcome just by having a good economy. This one you can overcome just by having good merchants and investment in trade power, okay, and mercantilism. This one, there's no way in the game you can improve your combat ability other than through technology, and your technology is going to be no better than theirs. So this is a huge advantage that nobody else can get. So that's the reason why you take it. It did spend all of our money, but that's fine. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. What do I recommend with the troops? Well, I actually recommend that they sit tight. As far as the ships go, hunting pirates is a possible thing if pirates start showing up. Pirates are more of a thing when you're in the Mediterranean because those dang Muslim countries tend to be the ones that do it. Usually you can protect trade. And you can go and, like it says here, that our trade will increase from $1.08 to $1.86. We'll get a 78-cent gain. And it'll cost 40 cents in maintenance. So it'll be a 38-cent profit. The North Sea, we would lose 3 cents. Here you'd gain 4. And then if we did our own node, it actually causes our trade to go down. I don't know why. But it's saying our trade would go down if we did our own node. Interesting. So what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and do Lubeck. So we'll send them and have them protect that node. And then our other navy, we currently have them on transport. And as far as missions go, we can tell them to hunt enemy fleets. So what you usually like to do, or intercept enemy fleets. So seek out and attack enemy fleets near allied coastlines, focusing on troop transports. So this is important for when they're trying to naval invade you. So if we're ever at war with France and they're trying to take our mainland, we just took that thing that gave us a huge bonus on coastal battles. So now you put on intercept, and then they're going to make sure they intercept anybody who tries to land on our coast. Now, hunt enemy fleets, they'll go further out away from our coast. They'll go like multiple oceans away. And then, of course, blockading ports, it's good when you're in battle. So I'm going to have them intercept enemy fleets, even though right now there's nothing to intercept. So, okay, we got everything out. Oh, we got to get our diplomacy. So first thing we want to do is get a royal marriage going with Portugal. Then we want an alliance with Spain. So let's see if we can pull that off. And then Austria is always a good one for us. And why can't I send one? I guess I have to wait a day before I can send another one to Austria. So let's wait and hit go. All right, and then we'll send one to Austria. And right there, Portugal would be at war with France over who gets to take over our throne. So Austria accepted, everybody accepted. It's just like an Oprah episode. You get an alliance, you get an alliance. So we get a marriage going with Castile. And then we need to get a marriage going with Austria. And boom, we got ourselves a wife. Can't have a baby without one of those. Well, you can, but not in the game. 323, Maria is going to be our savior, or beheaded. One or the other. We'll find out. Okay, so then, yeah, it's still, now it's Castile and France would be the personal union. This is, of course, as if Henry dies, and we made him a general, so we better be extra careful. But if we can get... So what I'm going to do is I really don't want France. I don't want to be at war with France. At least not as much as I have to. So I'm going to try to improve my relation with them. With Castile, we're going to do the same. And you can see I'm already using my diplomats a tad bit more. We'll do Austria, but we'll do that one later. So yeah, here we are. We're improving relations with everybody. France hates us so much. We're not even improving it. Holy cow. Minus 100 because they're a rival. They want our provinces minus 200. But whatever little bit we're doing, we're going to at least improve. The treaty is going to expire, and we're going to give them Maine soon. Oh, and there we go. We're making $9. That's actually really good, if you think about it. And we actually have full maintenance on our armies. We could actually even come in and do this and get even more money. Getting money is never bad. Now, to avoid War of the Roses, our stability is less than 1, which is adding to the score. So let's get that up. I almost forgot to do that. I need 100 and I have 64. Yeah, and by the way, we do have the papacy thing going. So we do have, you know, points that we're getting, and we can do the same things until Protestant takes over our area. So I'm grabbing money. And here it is, surrender of Maine. So if we honor our obligations, our stability goes down even more, which is plunging us even closer to War of the Roses. Or we can do this, which will mean that France has a choice, and they almost always declare war on us as a result. And then you're enmeshed in a huge battle. I do have allies that can try to help me, Spain, Austria, etc., but they sometimes will reject and refuse to join. It's your call how you want to play this. I just give them Maine because I told you Maine's not that valuable. Losing the prestige is not a big deal. The stability is, though. So we lose stability. I'm giving them Maine, and of course that territory just becomes theirs. And oh, I forgot to look at missions. The 100 Years' War. It didn't matter which one. Actually, we had to return Maine to get this. So we get a permanent claim on Ile-de-France. That's fine. And then here for strategic control, if you actually take over France, you can subjugate them. That is part of the mission here. It is, you have to have all provinces in the Ile-de-France area, which is not very big. And then you can complete this, and it just, boom, you automatically subjugate them. And it's actually quite impressive. You can become super powerful if you have both of them under your control. Obviously, we have some nice ones for discovering. And maritime. This one's worth trying to do early. Oh, you need more ports than 40. Never mind. Total Navy size, 90% of force limit. We have that. This one, you have to complete the War of Roses or reach Age of Reformation without ever triggering it. This one's one that we might be able to do. Manpower level at least 60%. That's going to happen over time, hopefully. But we can recruit troops and get up to 100% of our force limit. So let's see what that would be. So our Navy force limit is only 3 away, which is really nice. The troop force limit is 6 away. So I'd have to produce 6 more troops. I may do that. We have the money to. Let's see. 11, 5, 0, 10, 3, 0. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do that. Oh, and then let's get our stability up. We can't. So this is what's killing us. The stability is low, and we're now at 47% chance of War of the Roses. Did you see that? Now we're at 50%. So it's just going up, up, up until we can get that stability to go up. And then France just declared war on Brittany, so it's always a crap show against France. Since our money's good, let's get some advisors. Let's get some morale boost. Morale of navies, sure. And then production efficiency is not as good as tax, but I don't want to pay $3 a month for tax, so we'll do that. So that'll give us 444, because we need to get this up so we can increase our stability. We need 100. Alright, people are insulting us from Ireland. Potato farmers. Okay. Grenada actually has a civil war, which is stupid of their part. So here, we can boost. I'm going to do it. So we're up to 0 now. That's still not helping us with the War of the Roses. We're up to 65%. We're in trouble. We haven't had an heir yet. So one of the things we can try to do is overextend and get more royal marriages. So, for example, everybody's Catholic right now, so we could try like a royal marriage with Poland. So let's see who's willing to do a royal marriage with us. 19 people are. We can do some with Ireland stuff. Let's do that. So I gotta bring somebody home. We're gonna bring home the one from Portugal. And alright, so Ulster. What is the situation with Ulster? You got to be really careful because, like, this is Leinster, but it doesn't say Leinster here. Osmond, Ulster is this one. So being right next to so these guys are right next to Scotland. Scotland has a claim on them. So chances are we actually want to be friends with them. So I'm going to go ahead and do a royal marriage offer. And what we're doing is we're taking penalties now, right? Because actually I'm not taking, I could have had a fourth one. So I should have done this a while ago. We're trying to get that child. But actually we already have a wife. So I guess that doesn't do us any good. France is now the Pope. That would have been bad if we were at war with them. And yeah, we're just... War of the Roses is coming. And that means our troops are going to be... We're at 90% for War of the Roses. There's nothing I can do to stop it. And they're offering an alliance, and we're going to take it. Okay, we got a couple of things we have to resolve here. War of the Roses is happening. Crap. I guess I never accepted it. Okay, local fortification expert discovered. Because Henry is well connected, we can get him as a level 3. It's not very good, but we'll do it. So here we got to pick Lancaster or York. So York is a 144 with a strong claim, or a 425. 425 is clearly way better than a 144. We lose 6850 manpower. York, of course, is going to be the one that revolts. So they're going to get 20 regiments that uprise in York, or 21 in Lancashire. So let's do a quick sanity check. York is here. Lancashire should be... Man, why am I having a hard time finding everything? Leicester, Lancashire. So they're next to each other. Okay, so I'm picking this one just because it's the better ruler. I mean, Edward is 425 versus Henry VII. The outcome is exactly the same. They're even the same age. This one, actually, you get 21 revolting. This is only 20. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And you can see that they revolted. It's at 100%. And actually, we have some national decisions. We can make Calais the staple port. Brabant's opinion goes down. We gain 10 mercantilism. That's worth it. Until the end of the game, we get local trade power modifier at plus 25%. Yeah, I'm going to do that. So we don't want to lose Calais, I guess. But here we go. We got 20. And what I want to do is I want to merge my armies. So let's do that. And I think I wanted these guys to be in an alliance with me. So let's do that as well. And we lost. Oh, crap! I'm so sorry. I'm so shaduber. I made a huge mistake. This, by the way, is all part of the War of the Roses. You get these really awful things. And then more revolts are appearing everywhere. I forgot to bring my army maintenance up. So I went and just did an attack with no army morale. So this was stupid of me. And we're going to get more revolts. So this is something that we have to nip it in the bud while we can. Alright, so now they're attacking me. But this one we won, because we're getting our morale up. Alright, so this one you gain 3 development for 78 bucks, and that's worth it. Here, yeah, we're getting all our royal marriages, and look at this, 661. Happy with that. Alright, so we got Essex back. So let's go up and take York back. I'm not going to worry too much about Ireland right now. And yes, that 20k army is rumple stomping, so let's go see if we can take them down officially with a fully funded army this time. And 7 more just... Oh, so many things are popping up. So I'm going to come over here, and I just wiped out their army, which is good. Man, so much stuff going on. Okay, so 21k is over here because they keep getting 7 more rising up, but there's nothing I can do about it. Let's take the mainland first. Alright, pause. Oh boy. Okay, so there's an affair going on with our wife. Lose 10 prestige, lose 90 bucks, hang them, or get papal authority. I have 300 bucks. I'll just pay the money. It's annoying. And I lost him as an advisor, and these are super expensive. See, 328 is rough. I can afford it though, so let's do it. So this is an actual full-blown siege. So it's going to take a few months. Oh, look, they came. So now we got to come down and deal with them. So we won that battle. Let's get them. 17. Oh no. I'll take the loan. Well, that's another siege I gotta do. So many things with War of the Roses. Maybe you shouldn't play it full speed like I am, because the pop-ups are a little bit annoying. So Laborde will be a seat of a new cardinal. So I'd pay money to get a new cardinal. I don't really want a new cardinal, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And let's see if we can finish him off. So if you can get all the provinces to just... There's 7 more. Current heir will die. And get a weak claim. I'm going to do he'll die and we get a church, because getting a free church is pretty nice. And did that just end? That was just weird timing. Okay, so we got to take these provinces back. These sieges just take a while. And how does it end, the War of the Roses? Let's look at that. We could install Richard III at Middleton. I'm going to improve some stability. I think that'll help. And here we go. It ends when there's fewer rebel-controlled provinces than 1. Spawn rebels are not pretender. And I have to have an heir, which just died. Castile. So here's my problem. That 7K is taking territory while I'm trying to deal with this. Oh, come on. Lost a bunch of money. Renaissance era happened. And look, they just took York. This is annoying. $83. I'm not going to keep spending 83. I mean, that's just taking all my money. All right, we finally won. Let's go take these guys out. Done. 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 And you see, when we took that castle, it took everywhere around it for us. So hopefully if we do it here, we can accomplish the same thing. We're still making decent money. I'm happy about that. We might be able to end this soon. Scotland's got some rebellion going on there. Alright, we won the siege. So now we need to go... So our navy is helping us. Boom. Alright, and then let's get back to the mainland. Now this was the navy, of course, that we had hunting, intercepting enemy fleets. But it's also automatic transportation. And we have military tech. So that's good. Alright, we are partway there. Living on a prayer. Where is it? Stability. We need an heir. We need the babies. And here you can see we got 4 royal marriages. We have our queen, who is Malevant. Oh my gosh. But she's only 27, so I still have some faith that she might, you know, pump out a child for us. We must be having a lot of daughters. Okay, so... And then let's pay back a loan. Get rid of that. So all we need is just the heir. More rebels could come. And then look at this. France and Burgundy are at war. And Burgundy's getting slaughtered. France is no longer the Pope. Yeah, I'm not paying the money. Unrest is definitely high in a lot of places. And, oh, we have, let's improve relations there. France, you can still see, is very angry with us because they got minus 200 because they want our provinces. But let's see if we can sell a province. France is running a deficit with loans, and they're at war. Let's try Spain. So if I wanted to sell this province, they'll pay 200. And, for example, I can get it up to 380, 390. We will experience some inflation, so I can sell that for 390. Now, why would I do that? Well, when I go to war with France, that's going to be, you know, provinces they're going to take, and I can't defend it. So one argument is just hold on to it, Jeff, until they actually go to war with you, because this is how you can appease them, right? You give them those provinces, and then, you know, that's one thing. But I just wanted you to see that you could sell. And then like if I sell this one, that one's 857, which they're not willing to spend. They're not even willing to spend 0. I think once you give them this one, then they're willing to pay more for the next one. So Spain or Castile was willing to do it, and it is an option, and you can do it for money in a pinch. Um, right now we're doing okay. We're getting $4. And you notice how our money is way better situation than Portugal. All right, here we can gain a mercantilism, which is not bad. It's going to cost a fortune, though. I may have to do something. Yep. They're no longer loyal. If I lose 5 prestige, or if I spend, nope. Yeah, so appeasing the burghers is not easy to do. And you can see France is just warring like a banshee. Our turn is coming. There we go. We got 7 coming. They were easy enough to beat back, which is good. We can now build the marketplace. So this is also good. Marketplace, of course, being trade power for us, which we're getting 1158 there. Holy cow. Oh, I must have defeated the rebels, but then they retreated and then took a space from us. Oh, rivals. I forgot about this. Rivals. France, since you don't like us, we're going to embargo you. Scotland. We're going to embargo you. I think Burgundy was the third one, weren't they? So now when we look at our trade power, we jumped up a whole dollar. Because France, actually, in Burgundy, well, Burgundy dropped. They were pulling out, but they dropped huge in power. You can see we're causing a 35% drop for them, which I guess isn't too much. They didn't have much of a presence, but and then France is apparently not even there, so that's fine. I think here France gets dropped by 18%, so we're hurting them in their own node there, and I don't think we have any presence in this node, but it doesn't matter. You could embargo your rivals for free, otherwise it's pretty expensive. And we're not getting an error. I'm getting a little concerned here. All right. So now we got debate in Parliament. Culture conversion. Oh, we actually probably want to consider doing that at some point. Land maintenance isn't, we can renew that. This is only one thing really changed. Let's see about that culture conversion. So for example, we have some really high cost to convert culture in some places. Now Welsh is accepted. I'm pretty sure it is. But some of these other ones are not. and you can see that here. So so Welsh is at least the same culture group as us, even though we don't accept the culture. It's considered a British group, so we don't get as much penalty from them as we do from these other ones. Okay, and then another important part is this is how much percent of our population is, so it gives you an idea of where we're getting the biggest hit, because you lose tax revenue for not having accepted culture. So do I want to reduce the culture conversion cost by 15%? I'm going to try it. And here you can see I don't have a lot of support. If I support populists, I lose government reform progress, which, it's nice, but 10 diplomatic power, it's not a lot, but it's something. Losing to mercantilism is always brutal. And remember, 5 Navy tradition, done. The Army tradition is a little more important, but I give those up every day and twice on Sundays. And then I'm going to go ahead and lose the 10. That's not a bad one either, but I'll lose the 10 diplomatic power. Got it to pass. Now our culture costs are lower, and you can see that, reduced quite a bit. So the Welsh is probably not that big of a deal. The Highlander, though, is. The Irish is. It would be nice if we could just accept those cultures. You need at least 20 development in your states to be promoted to an accepted culture. And it has to be the states that have Irish in it. And so if we develop those areas, we can make them and accept. That's an interesting idea. So for the Welsh, I think they're here. Yes. So here you got a 111. I mean, holy cow, Montgomery is about as backwoods as it gets. So if I wanted to make this a 2, 2, 2, I mean, now we're all of a sudden up to 6 development. And then that's also Welsh, and I'll make that a 2. And this is also Welsh, so we'll increase that. And there's another Welsh. I mean, we're at 6, 11, 6 and 17, 6 more. We should be able to make them an accepted culture now. So here, we can't have more. We already have 2. And a nation can only have 2 with our current level of technology. So that's part of our issue. I know it'd be nice to get a cardinal. I don't really want to get the corruption that goes with it, though. So here I'm developing all the French ones, but that's where all the trade power is, so... Oh, and there we go, government reform. So let's see what we get here. We have the English monarchy, which gives us parliament, etc. Here we can get tax modifier of plus 10%, or manpower, which is always good. I mean, you can see we ran out of manpower in that last battle, or in our current battle. Oh, these are both tough choices. Manpower is important, because if you're going to fight with France, you need to be able to replenish the troops. I mean, even against Scotland, if you run out of manpower, they can beat you pretty bad. But obviously, money is money, and it's always good to be king when you get money. 10% is good, and you can see our taxation is 1408. That's already $4 more than Portugal hardly ever got most of our last game. So we would get an extra $1.40 a month I mean, for the rest of the game. Yeah, I can't pass that up. So let's do that. And so that should jump up to 1540. Yeah, oh, 1504. Huh. Finally! Okay, so we gain a stability and 50 prestige. We finally got our heir. And the mission is fulfilled. We've completed War of the Roses. And here, if it's not Age of Discovery, we gotta have Counter-Reformation. Alright, we're not there. We can get our temple finally. Okay, Rise of Dynasty. There will never be reconciliation between our two dynasties. All kinds of rebelliousness happens, or it's time for peace and Henry Tudor becomes a new heir. 342. What's our current heir? 323. 342. 323. They're 6 or 1/2. This one's 24, whereas the other one's 0. Sure. And of course he's infertile. Stupid Henry. So I think France is at war again against Aragon. The Aragonese conquest of Provence. Aragon is a moron. They're at war with France. Now this is the time where we want to go to war with France, right? Because they're already at war with Aragon, and it's like, okay, well, maybe they, so if we came here and they already hate us, so what if we try to do a conquest? Oh my gosh. Something crashed. But apparently it wasn't the game. So while I try to figure out what just crashed on my computer, I'm at an hour 22, so I'll go ahead and end the video. Thanks for watching. Stay awesome.